Hello everyone, today I'm going to introduce to you the principles of mass spectrometry, which is a very useful instrument in electron and testing sciences. Basically, we know that moving objects have kinetic energy, and as the kinetic energy equals to half of the mass multiplied by velocity square, different objects have different mass, and the same amount of kinetic energy will have different velocity. And when an outer force is coming into play, this will have different results. Think of this. If I toss this coin with a certain amount of kinetic energy, like this, and it will fly right there. But if I have a book, a very heavy book in my hand, and I toss it with the same amount of kinetic energy, you could imagine that it will fall out of the sky dead. And that's basically how mass spectrometry works by distinguishing the difference between the two. Only in this case, the coin and also the heavy book are replaced by different molecular fragments having a different mass produced by the mass spectrometry by vaporizing a sample and bombarding it with electrons. After that, the different fragments having different mass but the same amount of charge are produced. Then they are sent into an electric field which gives them the same amount of kinetic energy. And then they fly into a magnetic field which exerts a certain amount of force called Lorentz force, which is vertical toward the direction of motion. And this force forced all the fragments into a circling motion, and because the mass and also the velocity for the fragments are different, the radius of the circling motion and also the time to complete a certain angle is different. Basically, the heavier fragments with slower speed will travel a longer time in a large circle. And after that, after they complete this circling movement, they will impact on the sensor, and the sensor will register the signal. And the signals are processed, and the radius of the movement and also the time to complete the movement will be used to calculate the mass of the fragments. Because of the fragments, because of the machine could be very precise up to the 7th digit after 0 in determining the mass of the fragments, the information could be used to determine the atomic makeup for the fragments, and therefore the atomic makeup, and even narrow down to the possible structure of the unknown sample. And that information can be very useful in organic chemistry, analytical and testing chemistry, and also various other industries. But this seemingly complicated machine follows the simple rule of tossing things at different mass but the same amount of kinetic energy and see what happens.